mess. So I'm not going to be able to get you guys like in, but do a little bit. This is a Gerber Terracraft. I'm going to do a video about these knives. I'm probably going to have to shoot it later today, but this is a good looking knife. It's pretty thick though. Customer asked if I could possibly do a reprofile on this to give it a little thinner edge. We'll see. This is in S30V. It doesn't like me. I'm wearing my cowboy hat because I don't have a canopy now, so this is not a PDM thing. That's gonna be a hard push, but we will see what we can do. I just did, got my stones. Got my stones in. The folks over at, I'm gonna tell you right now, Edge Pro is a great company. They got those to me so quick. They got them to me within a day. Like I ordered them and I had them the next day. So I just didn't have time. Wow, we're gonna look at, let's see, now I gotta order a new one of these. This is my old one. And since the other one, hang on a second, my wife said, let me close this window so I'm not bothering her. So yeah, this is the best we're gonna do because I can't put the tripod over there because the people that stole shit went through my recycling and knocked all the recycling down. I just haven't, it's just been a nightmare out here. So bring it down a little bit. Maybe you can see what I'm doing. But so anyway, this is a Gerber Terracraft. Pretty nice knife. I'm not a big fan of Gerbers most of the time. Let's see if this one will, you can tell this is my old one. Look, it's all rusty and nasty, but they got the new one, so the better one. Yeah, I don't know if this is even gonna be worth using. I don't think there's enough bite left on this to, maybe, we'll see. We'll give it a shot. Man, it is bright out here, fellas. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. If you're watching these and you're sticking around, hit that like button. It only takes you a second, but it does a lot to help the channel. It's one of the biggest things that I just talked to Nick Shabazz the other day. He sent me back his, I let him borrow a sea snake so that he didn't have to buy one. I didn't, like I told him, I didn't want him to go and buy one. He was gonna go buy a sea snake. I said, you know what, don't buy one. That way, because, you know, if you get it and you don't like it, if you get it and I send it to you and you don't like it, then, you know, your review is probably gonna be a lot less disappointing. Let's put it that way. Let me see if I can move this stuff around to give you guys some better view, because you're facing right into the sun. So, yeah, I spent the weekend, Ethan hung out with me on the weekend on my Twitch channel because I'm still boycotting NFL. We're not going to get into all that, but I'm just not watching football or basically any sports, really. Not just because of boycott reasons, but, you know, time constraints. So I started that Twitch channel, and I streamed a game most of the weekend. Okay, stay right there. I'm gonna try and bring you guys over here. I was playing The Outer Worlds. I'd never played it. My sister got me a copy of it. So, no, my sister didn't. I don't remember who got it for me. It wasn't my sister. My sister told me about it. So I got it for free somehow. I don't remember if I had a code or, yeah, this has got a bad grind on the very tip. We'll see. But at any rate, I got the game for free. And I found a couple of my stones that I thought were missing. They were actually laying over there. So I have a spare 1,000 grit. Well, not much of 1,000. I'll show you guys how much I use these. People are like, wow, you go through stones. You say you go through stones a lot. That's crazy. How do you? This is the 1,000 grit that I found over there. And this is the new one that showed up. These are both 1,000 grits, as you can see. Guys, I sharpen enough knives. This stone, I don't think this stone is 6 months old. So Luckily, the more expensive stuff was in the house because I had sharpened in the house. I did, if you guys remember, I did that reprofiling video in the house. So a lot of the diamond stones that are really heavy cutters were in the house, the ones that I use. I did lose a 4,000 grit diamond. I lost a 2,300 grit diamond. But I'm pretty sure that I'll get those back eventually. I'll purchase some new ones. But the ones that I use, I don't really, as good as those diamond matrix stones are, I don't like the 23 and the 4,000 because they pick up a piece of, they pick up little pieces, little flecks of metal, and then it gets in and you have to, like every couple minutes, you got to resurface stones. And that makes a hell of a mess, and I don't want to do it. So I just stopped using those stones. So let's go ahead and see. Let's get some reprofile done on this one now that I've got you guys moved over. So that one looks okay. So I was gonna make this a members only live. Hey, speaking of members, you guys notice when people log in and comment, they get that little tag on it. That's a member. It's Spitfire. Spitfire's been a paying member of the channel for a little while now. I don't think that this is gonna have the horsepower that I want to do this. This stone is pretty worn. That's the one that hurts. These are expensive. These are really expensive. I have to get a new one because the the one that was fairly new got stolen, and this one is the older of the three. I have one over there that I used for something else, and it's just not, it's not fit to put knives on anymore. So ten people, 8 likes. Yeah, I bought a set of 4 DMTs. Let's see, just so it's a little lopsided. I'm gonna have to resort to, this is a, I don't like the DMTs except for that reprofiling, that super coarse, extra coarse plate that I use. This actually is more aggressive than that one is currently. But this is S30. V. Yeah, I'm doing a live feed. What's up?
The site was open.
Did you call?
I called.
Okay, I can do that tomorrow morning.
Maybe.
Or maybe this afternoon.
We have to go together.
No, that's fine. I don't know. I can do it by myself.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe this afternoon. So recycling's been closed. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got like 13 bags of recycling in my yard, and then bins of glass. But with the lockdown restrictions, the recycling centers have been closed, and that's one of the things that they stole. So that you guys know, like everybody was like, oh, they must have known that you were a knife sharpener, or they must have been followers of the channel, or something like that. Typical misground on a Gerber healing tip on the one side. One side's good, and then the other side's not. We have a homeless encampment just down the road, and they've been stealing anything they can find. They stole a couple bags of my trash. They stole a gas tank from my grill. They stole stuff out of my workbench, and then they stole weird shit that just like doesn't make any sense to steal. So, but what happened, what woke me up, if you remember, I told you guys that I thought I heard something in the garage, and I checked the house. What I heard was this. Now that was kind of bad because we had the storm that destroyed my canopy, but someone tripped over that because you can see they drug pieces of it with them through the yard. And so I think that's what I heard. And when I went to go check, they were already gone. But now what I'm pretty convinced happened is we have had home inspectors and home appraisers for the home sale in and out of the house. And I think one of them was inspecting and left the garden gate open, which, I mean, it happens. It happens. I've left it open before. I left the garage open all night here not long ago. So has my wife here recently. So it's, you know, it happens. And so it just sucks that, we have that criminal element out here. And the fact is, like I know that there's, like, there's people that are legitimately homeless for cause, but what we run into in San Diego areas, these are people that just, they choose to be homeless. Like, they have chosen that because the fact is, the weather here in San Diego allows it. They don't have to work, they don't have to provide anything, and they have, a lot of these guys have chosen that lifestyle. Now, those guys, actually, most of them are, you know, they're not the same as the crackheads and meth heads that live just a little bit down the road here. These guys dumpster dive, and I have a friend that, by definition, you could technically say is homeless, but he makes a good bit of money, and he lives in a Mercedes van that he's converted into a camper, and he just goes from Walmart parking lot to Walmart parking lot after work. And we're talking about a guy that makes a significant amount of money. And after he got divorced, he just decided he wasn't going to have a house. We're talking about a guy that makes 6 figures a year and lives in a tiny, like, it's all he needs. He has a gym membership. He takes showers there. He works out. He stays in shape. He's 6 figures a year. He has a post office box where he gets all his mail. And then he just lives in this big extra long Mercedes van, and I've seen the inside of it. It's nice. He's got a little kitchen. He's got a heater. He's got his bed. He's got his computer, like a little office. He predominantly works from home these days because he does administrative work for a business. And so he basically just lives in that camper that he created. And so, you know, technically you could say he's homeless, but, you know, it's, you know, there's people that, yeah, he got divorced, and he just decided that, you know, with the alimony and everything and child support, and he gets his kids every other weekend. I mean, they parted on decent terms, but, you know, she got the house and all that. He was like, you know what, I don't, all those, he was telling me, he's like, all those things that I thought I wanted, he's like, I really didn't need. He's like, I got that stuff because that's what people said I should want. And he's like, I'm perfectly fine with this. And if I want to go somewhere, he's like, I do most of my stuff online. Most of my work is online. He's very rarely do I go into an office. He's like, I can go anywhere I want. So I have a new affiliate link that I'm going to start posting up. I will probably put it in this video. I have not shot a video yet for Tuesday, guys. I apologize. There is no video ready for Tuesday. Things have been hectic, and I needed a weekend for me. I thought about filming on a weekend, but guys, I really just needed this weekend for me with all the stuff that has went on. And I had a bunch of people go on that live feed like, oh, your customers, I feel sorry for your customers always having to deal with your excuses. And I'm like, guys, it's not an excuse. Shit happens to everybody. And it just seems like it's all happened at once. The canopy got blown away and destroyed. We're selling the house. I've got a medical issue with my shoulder. It just all happened at once. I did a live feed on Instagram talking about that. Saturday morning, I was in getting an MRI for my shoulder Saturday morning because we do know that my shoulders and some of my other joints, it's a degenerative thing with my autoimmune disorder. It really is. My joints, my immune system attacks tendons and ligaments where they meet the bone at the connection points, that soft connective tissue there. And that's where it predominantly does it. It also attacks my spine, but not as badly as it does my joints. Well, the thing is, what we've come to a conclusion on, and one of the things that my doctor has recommended is when this shoulder starts getting bad and we start noticing the issues that I had with this shoulder, because this shoulder went bad before I got diagnosed with autoimmune, and now we know what, go the fuck away. What we're doing is periodically we do an MRI to make sure that that shoulder's not degrading and not coming apart. Well, the plan is, now that I'm starting to have issues with this shoulder that I exhibited in this shoulder, we're probably going to try and do, instead of being so invasive, we're going to do a preemptive thing. And before it gets bad enough that we have to reattach my bicep. Well, I mean, we're going to have to do it, but they're not going to have to go down. They're not going to have to scope all the way down and pull that tendon back up to reattach it. Because I detached my bicep at one point. What we're going to do is we're going to get ahead of the game, and we're going to do the surgery and just relocate that so it's not touching the bone. That's where the problem is, where the tendon touches the bone. So I don't have any real problems with this shoulder anymore because the tendon doesn't touch the bone. The tendon touches plastic, plastic touches the bone, and my immune system can't damage that anchor point like it can where it's here. So we are going to go ahead and preemptively get that surgery when it looks bad on an MRI. So Saturday I was in, I had to get a contrast MRI. They filled the joint with a contrast fluid. And so that's it. But I am going to announce something to you guys while we're on here. These knives that you see me sharpening represent the last of the knives that I sharpen until I get everything set up at the new house, change the business model, all that stuff. I am going to curtail my sharpening services. So I would ask that you be patient with me because there's just no real good way for me to do all this at the same time. Selling the house, moving, packing up. I will definitely keep it as short a period as possible, and I'll announce when I'm doing it again. And I mean, I might take on small sharpening jobs here and there. If you've got something that's coming in that I haven't ever seen before, and I'm like, yes, I will take that so that I can show it and sharpen and all that stuff. But that's on a case by case. So feel free to reach out to me and I'll let you know if you're still needing sharpening. But yeah, there's a lot going on. I have a new affiliate link with a company that's providing me some stuff. I'm gonna do a video for full30.com. Hey, Zach, this is what's up, bro. We're live sharpening. My stones came in. Zach, while I have you here, please do not send me the money for those stones. Honest, I found a couple of them that had gotten dumped right out here that I hadn't seen. I can do ceramic coatings as long as you're patient on the time frame. I can honestly tell you guys, I have not been to the shop I went to the shop last Saturday for like 2 hours. I had to do a blade tumble for myself and Jake from over at Jacob Ginsberg Knives. He and I both had something we had to tumble, so we just kind of took a couple hours of our Saturday and went over and did that. So where are all these bees coming from? Probably shouldn't be killing them, but like literally that is like the bees constantly today. Anyway, so 19 people, 11 likes. Let's try and get that ratio up. I'm just gonna keep doing that. Full30.com, I have a couple videos I'm gonna shoot for there. I do owe you guys a video for here. Problem is I really don't have much except these knives, and as you can see, I have not sharpened them yet. And this is not, I'm not gonna lie to you, Zach, I'm trying to get this one. I mean, basically I'm gonna have to reprofile it even if you hadn't asked. It's ground very poorly. I've got to realign the angle on the tip of this, but this is S30V. I know you want a good working edge. I'm thinking about just 1,000 grit on this is probably where we're gonna sit at. I know you guys looked at this and you're like, oh, it's PDM. Nope, just me, borrowed his hat. So Zach offered to pay for the stones that got stolen. And like I told him, I was like, they were at the end of their life. Like I said, I found the 1,000 grit. I'll show you guys again the comparison. I found the 1,000 grit laying over there. I don't know where the rest of them went, and they still made off with this diamond plate. So hang on just a second, guys. I have to close I had to turn off notifications. I was getting so many. So this is 1,000 grit, and this is 1,000 grit. That is a brand new one, and this one is maybe 6 months old. Can you see the amount of wear? I mean, there's almost nothing left. So they had to be replaced anyway, Zach. There is no sense in you paying. It just sucks that I woke up and I was like, oh shit, I don't have anything now. So, and like I said, I lost a couple of my diamond matrix stones. Actually the less expensive ones. So my 2,300 and my 4,000 grit diamond matrix stones, they're gone. I don't know where they're at. So No, I didn't. This is the old one that I was using to flatten things. You know, I would use that when, to tell you the truth, I've used that a couple times to take mill scale off of blade blanks, or not mill scale, forge scale, off of blade blanks that I've heat treated at the shop. And so just to do a quick rough up to see if, see how the surface finish looks, because it's nice and flat. I've done that a few times since I got, but it just, I'm having to do it on this because this is that really super coarse diamond, because it just doesn't have the grit left. It just doesn't. It's pretty dead. So I'm gonna have to order one of those too. I was hoping that maybe it had just gotten misplaced, but no. But I lucked out because some of my more expensive stuff, some of the more expensive stuff that I used for the sharpening tutorial for the top tier members, I was still in the house. I had left it in the house, like a couple of my other stones, but I had done a little bit of sharpening out here, so. Because y'all can say that real cowboys don't come from Ohio. I've got a really good friend from high school who's a 2-time world champion roper from rodeo, 2-time. Trevor Dreer. So yeah, we got real cowboys in Ohio. Man, this is really poorly ground at the tip on this. And heel. I'll get her finger out though, Zach. With Gerbers, it's always this side. So if you're looking from the spine, always the left side as you're using it, that's the side that's always ground deeper than the other side, at the heel and the tip. This side, always fine, and I know why. I'm gonna show you exactly why. It's because when you pass it on the grinder, this hand supports. When you come back around, this hand, the dumb one, you have a tendency to kick it in and out. And I know this because I'm a knife maker. So, I mean, I know it happens, but I mean, it's just a little bit of QC. And if you need a guide, a sharpening guide, they're not that expensive. A company like Gerber could easily afford something like that. I mean, they're not a little company, but I will tell you, this is a very comfortable knife. This is going to get a fairly good review. Zach, I will try and get that review done. Actually, I have a Civivi that I think I have to do first. It's been here a good bit longer than your knives. Man, that's a deep cut in area on that heel. My stone's not even touching it yet. I almost made this a members only live feed. And I don't mean like only members could view it, but like members, only paying members could comment. And I was like, you know what, I haven't done a live sharpening for a while. And I definitely couldn't do this in the house. It makes a mess. So, but yeah, we're probably gonna look at properties starting tomorrow? Wednesday. I think we have a property to look at on Wednesday for rental. Man, Gerber. Get a sharpening jig for your machine. Or do it the way that like other companies do, where it's the two rotating wheels. Companies that do that, I don't seem to have as much issue. I will tell you, Puma, while their quality has dropped, their edges are still incredible. And I've watched how they make their knives at videos for Puma knives, and they use that. And so it's a guide, and it's just the guy pulls a lever and it runs back, and then it runs forward, then it runs back, and it's two grinding wheels coming together just to make the apex. It's like a pull through, but it's a rotating thing, and their edges are consistent. I gotta open this door. Hang on a second, guys. I got a customer that might be stopping by, so I need to open this for them in case they stop by. So Yeah, I just haven't done a live YouTube sharpening video for a while, so if you guys want an actual tutorial, however, you got to be a member, top tier member. I have for years said I was going to do a sharpening tutorial, and I just had to figure out how I wanted to do it because it was going to be a paid thing. Well, now that I have memberships, I just made it the top tier. That's what you get access to. I think I did either the 3rd or the 4th. I may actually film that video today. The 4th, whatever it is, the 4th or the 5th one, because the next step is grit progression. So we talked about reprofiling in the last one. Next one is grit progression. You know, going up from, you know, whatever your starting grit would be to your finishing grit, and what to look for, and basically just walk you through the entire thing. So that's the next one, because I want to get that little ProTech. I've had Nico's ProTech for probably 6 months. And it was to be used as this, but I want to get it back to him. So we're trying to figure out when he can come down. Nico got one of those little arcade cabinets, like the one I have, the Asteroids cabinet. And so if he can come down to pick it up, I want to have that knife done. If not, I'm going to try and make it up to his place. And I always say I'm a film when I go up to his place, but we always wind up just hanging out and just goofing off. We don't actually film anything. Gerber's S30V is hard. I am not gonna lie. This is just taking way longer than I expected. And that's an aggressive stone. So let's go ahead and rinse this thing off a little bit. Hey, what's up, David? David, as you can see, also a paying member. I think David's a top tier member. I can't remember if I remember correctly. So, David, I have a new affiliate link I'm going to send you. It is an electric hand warmer. These guys made an electric hand warmer for outdoorsmen. It's waterproof and stuff like that. My daughter has one similar to it, and she loves it at the ice. Hey, what's up, Tristan? She uses it at the ice rink, and she loves it. But hers is, I don't think hers is as nice. Yeah, the heat treat on it. Well, okay. Hard is relative. Like, you can have a really hard knife, but if it's chippy, then you run into the whole issue that it's like heat. I'm gonna do a video about different, you know, like my opinions on heat treat. Like, you can. There's people that get knives and they're like, wow, this steel's soft, and da 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 da. Stropping? Stropping is going to be another one of those tutorial videos. I do a tutorial, Jojo. I have an entire tutorial series that I'm doing. It's exclusive to the members only, the paying members, the top tier members. It's because I've said I wanted to do a tutorial series, but it had to be a paid thing. Like, it doesn't make sense for me to spend that kind of time to film. They're each like 30 to 40 minutes. The last one was like 35 minutes, and I sped a good portion of it up 4-speed. So it's just one of those things. I can't do a tutorial for free. I offer sharpening classes to local San Diego people, personnel here in San Diego, people that come here, pay for it. So I'm not gonna do something that I charge other people for free. It doesn't. That's what I thought when I saw it. Who was that said? Yeah, they can be brittle. Like, sometimes people are like, oh, it's so hard. Well, do I want it hard? Not necessarily. This is super wear resistant. We'll see. I'm going to tell you, in my experience, I wouldn't have done it. Oh. Well, see, it's bright out here, and I can't really see the comments real well. I apologize. So I have the merch store. I have the affiliate link that you guys always see for, what do you call it? I'm trying to think what I'm trying to say. Olight, the Olight affiliate link. I have a new affiliate link I'll be putting in. And like I was saying, it's for hand warmers. Yeah. David, I'll make sure you get that. It looks like the one that my daughter has, but more robust and waterproof, and it's rechargeable, and it's not. So it's, hey, Native Wild Man. I think it might be something you might want to test out and then give me your opinion of it. So this is a permanent affiliate link. Basically, I'm their affiliate now. If it's as good as the one my daughter has, it's nice. So okay, what I was saying, S35VN that sharpens like this, I would be hesitant to take it up very high in grit, because every time I've had one, and I can kind of see it here on this stone, every time I've had one that I sharpen nice and fine, or just sharpen period, that feels like this on the stones, it chips pretty easily. And that's why this now has an S90V blade instead of an S30V. And this was from JoJo, cheap. I got so much heartburn lately. I haven't even eaten anything today. No matter what I eat or drink, I just get heartburn. I think it's stress. Okay, I need to change the scratch pattern up a little bit. That's not wanting to cut. It's almost like when you file something and you don't change your direction, it doesn't cut as well. I need to change the scratch pattern so that is more effective. Well, that part of it's not, that part right there is not too worn. I might be able to actually use it. I can use that part. Yeah, there we go. There's a little bit of bite left on this stone. The thing that sucks is I got some of my old strops back out. I had just bought the balsa wood strops, just got replacements, and those got stolen. So these are my old ones. You can see they're coming off. These are my old ones. And I had kept them just for small stuff. This one's not as bad, but I basically just bought strops, just bought balsa wood strops, just got them loaded. They were working great. And that's one of the things that got stolen. And so I went back to Straight Razor Supply, and they are out of stock. So I'd only had those for maybe 2 or 3 months. Those are like a year or so old. And I had been doing my own, making my own, but I'm out of balsa. Oh, dude. Okay, so from someone that has done a lot of horseback and horse riding and saddle bronc and stuff like that, a horse can stomp on this and you can just punch it right back out. I've sat on this thing. I've had this hat for years. And you can see, I know how to buy a hat that fits me. Like, it's not like, you see guys that buy a cowboy hat and it's like sitting like 8 inches up off their ears. What do I recommend to keep D2 from rusting? Ceramic coating. It's about the only thing that'll do it. It is about the only thing that'll do it. Yeah, the palm straw. Yeah, that's yeah, exactly. It is like I've had some just regular painted straw hats, Stetsons. I think this is a Texas hat company. Guys, I have worn this so many times you can't even read. It is a Texas, though. I can see the parts of the logo. I've had this for so long and used it so much that this hat actually gets worn a lot. You guys just never see the hat that I wear in videos. There's a reason why I always wear it in videos. It's become a recognizable part of the channel, along with like a black sweatshirt or just a plain black t-shirt. There's, always the hat. The hat is always standard in all my videos, with the exception of days like today where I don't want to sunburn the top of my freaking head. So I will give you guys right now a piece of advice that I've said in a bunch of the sharpening tutorial videos, because this is just unsolicited advice. Do not lift your elbow when you're sharpening. Keep your arm down. It keeps you from changing that angle. It's not just the size of circumference, it's getting the right depth of crown. Like my hat, that is sitting directly on top of my head, and it is tight enough. I've worn this thing at a racetrack where it was windy, does not blow off. This thing is on there proper. That's the way a cowboy hat's supposed to fit. Because with the big wide brim, if you don't get it fitted properly, it's gonna just blow off. And then you're out however much. And I'm not gonna lie, Texas Hat Company, these are not cheap hats. But flip side of that is that this was a felt hat, I would have had to replace it twice over by now. See, I don't lift my elbow. I may move the stone, but what you're seeing me do is trying to create that bit of a convex, and I'm rotating this, not necessarily moving it. I know it looks weird in the video, but when I rotate it, it lets me hit different parts of the stone at different parts of transition. So I'm using all of my stone. To tell you the truth, I don't even think about it anymore. Yeah, that's working. We'll keep going with that for a little bit. Then we'll switch back to that really aggressive, just to make sure. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys right now, I don't know how long I can stay on here. I am expecting a call from the realtor, and I turned off my notifications so they didn't interrupt us. So I don't want to stay on here too long, but man, this is a nice looking knife, Zach. Whew. Another reason I need to stop the sharpening eventually, I'm gonna have to, I'm starting to develop carpal tunnel. And I think more of the carpal tunnel is from digging holes in the dirt at construction sites than it is from this. I don't really move my wrist that much. My wrist, I keep my wrist and elbow locked. I'm moving my shoulder. All right, bro. I might stream a video tonight. I don't know, a video game. I'm not sure yet if you want to try and catch me there and see. What was that, Zach? No, you can't sharpen M4 to SharpMaker. All you're gonna do is ruin your stones. Tristan, you can't. Those are not meant for reprofiling. Those are just meant for edge touching, edge sharpening. If you can't, I mean, you can get the diamond triangles for it, but SharpMaker does not. SharpMaker does not have the horsepower to do it. Neither do most of the fixtured systems, to tell you the truth. There's a couple. The KME, those stones are pretty aggressive, and you get really, but it takes a long time. Your best bet is to learn how to freehand sharpen. Get yourself a really aggressive plate, reprofile your stuff, and then work your way through the grit, and then, yeah, you can do touch-ups, but it's still, you can only touch up for so long before you blunt your edge. You know what I'm saying? You eventually have to reprofile that. And even though that Edge Pro comes with, or not Edge Pro, that SharpMaker comes with slots for 2 different angles, it still just does not have what you need to do that, to thin that edge behind. Like I'm not gonna lie, I have a lot of 9 knives in my case right now that basically have micro bevels because I have a ceramic rod that I just touch them up on. And so it's, Where'd that go? Where'd my ceramic plate go? Oh, there it is. A lot of times just touching them up on a ceramic rod is easier because I'm in the kitchen, I walk in and my knife's a little done, I just touch it up on the rod, because it's different than honing it on this, because you're only hitting the very apex of that edge. Now, it gives you a little bit coarser edge. Matter of fact, I touched up this S90V on it the other day because I got into some really, really, really abrasive stuff. There was some boxes I cut up that I don't know why, but they had dirt. It was like there was dirt in the box, and it kind of cut the edge up a little bit. So I just touched it up on a rod, just because sometimes it's simpler, it's quicker. But you can only do that so many times. You know what I mean? It's not a replacement for thinning the edge behind that. If you do a micro bevel, that's not a problem. The other thing with 3B, it rusts. That's another steel that, like, I wouldn't have a knife in 3B unless I coated it, like I took it to the shop and coated it with ceramic. Let's keep going on this. I think we are almost there. It's just that very tip that the angle is off. And I'm gonna work on this side to help align that. Woo, Zach, this thing is hard. I'm afraid that this is I'm pretty sure that you're gonna have issues with chipping on this. As hard as this is, as I'm sharpening, I'm thinking, yeah, it's gonna be problematic at times. And this is a little misground, I think. So we're gonna, not really. Not so much, not as bad as I thought. I think we're almost there. I think we just need to even those angles back and forth a couple more times. Now, I would typically say, if I was having an issue, I'm gonna let you guys know on a little secret. If I'm having an issue where I've got the apex and then there's a low spot in the back behind the actual physical edge, I'd recommend to the customer, like, don't have me sharpen that out. We can get to that later as we go. We'll flatten that out more. We'll take more, because a lot of times that's just a little hiccup where the belt went in a little bit and so it's deeper in the back and then it evens out at the top. So as I'm sharpening, I'm taking material off at the front and then there's a little low spot. I don't recommend taking that out if it's behind the apex. But the problem we have with this knife, and I will turn this around, I'll see if I can get a view of it for you. Let me get my glasses off so I can actually see. So what I have here is I have got the angle even back here, but you can see that shiny at the tip. That's the factory edge where it's off. So I don't have an option. I have to take that material off because the very tip is kicked over. And I'm not actually even touching that factory edge yet. So while I have aligned the edge the way it looks like, but there's a section at the very tip where the stone's not touching. I'll take you guys in with me. I've got to get something to drink. I am thirsty. Let's go in here. I think my wife already, my wife just left for work. So, whew. Give you guys another last view of the counters, or cabinets, I mean. Ooh. Get some of this Mugicha. It's non-caffeinated. It's basically the Japanese version of iced tea, but it's not made from tea. It's made from roasted barley, and it's pretty good, especially when it's warm. Like, it's not warm out, but I'm sweating because, well, I'm working and I'm in the sun. So if I tried doing this, I took my sweatshirt off. I was like, you know what? It's still a little too chilly. There's a little crispness to that air to be out here sweaty and not wear my sweatshirt. Plus, this is nasty. I got mud from the stones all over me and stuff like that. So let's plug this back in. Oh. That is quite refreshing. Yeah, Nico worked hard on those cabinets. Here's the thing, the new owners like them so much, there's a chance they're gonna contact Nico to do more, like the downstairs cabinets and stuff like that. So I told him, I was like, expect to get a call. I'm gonna give them his business card, I mean. So, yeah. All right, let's switch back to this little one and see. Change the, yeah, now it's cutting, because now the scratch pattern is a little different. So sometimes going back and forth between stones can get you a little bit more plus a finer scratch pattern. You're going to see spots that you're missing, if that makes sense, because the grit's not as high. Yeah, you didn't know. I mean, we've been talking about it. We got to look at rental properties. It's going to take us a little while. We have several months that we can rent this place from the new owners and continue to look. But I don't want to take that long. I've got to have an address for the new business model and stuff like that. So yeah, we're going to stick with this. It's doing a better job, I think. So, Zach, I'm going to tell you, there's going to be some weirdness on the tip of this. Yeah, cops are like, hey, your stuff's gone. I found a couple of things, but I ordered new stones. They showed. There's a couple other things that we noticed that they got. There's a propane tank that's missing. Some of my recycling was all thrown around, just little stuff. So, but I mean, what can you do? They got it in my yard and they stole stuff. The reason I say that, Zach, is I don't want to take off that much material just to try and make it look perfect, when as long as I get to the apex on this, we'll be good. You know what I mean? I like it to look good, but I also don't like sacrificing longevity. Ooh, don't drop that on that glass plate. Jesus. Yep, keep going. Problem is I can't just work on the tip on one side and not on the other, because then you get it. It's almost as bad as and the other thing too is if I work the tip, then I have to do several full length strokes. So I'll focus on, if you watch, like people like, we're not hitting the whole blade. Well, that's because I know where it's low and I know where it's not. And the fact is I can focus on the heel back here and then work into the middle and then up at the tip. And then I do, if you look, I do several full length passes and I marry all that in. And you can't even see where I may have worked on something a little longer than the other. What was that? Guys, I am trying to do a membership drive on this channel. If you're not already a member, it would really help to make the channel self-sustainable. I can't buy anything for the channel right now with the way things are. So if you like some of the stuff you've seen, there's a lot of things that I would like to do. I just can't. Because I just, the financial constraints. So like, I'm not saying like, oh, get that $14 a month membership. I'm just saying if you can, it would be nice to be able to make this channel self-sufficient so that I'm not, I don't have to dip into savings for anything. And the problem is like, I had stuff I was gonna do, but as we know, I just had to buy stones, YouTube money. I just spent like $100-something of the YouTube money. Canopy, I haven't bought it yet, but I'm holding off. If I can get a place where there's enough room, I'm going to move the sharpening inside, and I'm gonna take, the place we're looking at has an extra bedroom, and I'm thinking that I could feasibly turn that into a YouTube studio / office, where all my sharpening stuff's done in there. I've got proper lighting, I can shoot videos, full30.com and YouTube on the same, in the same area. I'm gonna get one of those, I'm going to get one of those crazy sharp shower curtains as a backdrop. It's just something that I wanna, seriously, why are there so many bees today? There's a bees, I bet there's a beehive around here somewhere. Either that or there's a swarm of bees somewhere around here. So, if you haven't went to the merch store, those sweatshirts are really warm. I'd be wearing one now, but this is my old beat up all coast construction shirt that you've seen in the intro since I started having an intro. This is my dirty work shirt. This is true. What's up? What's up, Neebs? If you guys don't follow Neebs, you should. I mean, you've probably seen it enough times by now. I put it in the end screens of videos so many times. We are almost there, Zach. I am almost, whew. If I take my sweatshirt off, though, I'm gonna be too hot, or too cold, I mean. The worst thing about having all that shit stolen is now, daily, I take everything back in. So, crap. And like I said, guys, I'm sorry I didn't film anything for the channel this weekend. I just needed a couple days for me and just to think and lay things out in my head of what's going on. And like I said, curtailing the sharpening is gonna suck. If you need something sharpened and hand sharpened for right now until I come back online, talk to Neebs and talk to Jared and see if he's got availability for it. But then I'm gonna tell you all that, I'm just gonna tell you his stuff's not as good as mine. But it'll get you by. It'll get you by till I can get to it. So I'm hoping only just like a couple weeks or so, just enough time for us to find a place for us to rent that meets our requirements. And like I said, if we get the place that I'm looking at, that's going to help a lot because it does have an extra room. What's wrong with your Microtech? What was the issue with the Microtech, Zach? I can't remember. See, I wish this was misground the other way so I wasn't taking so much material off of this knife. It's just... See, here you go. See, I have no problem with Microtech. I have got, one of my favorite knives is Microtech DOC. I had a whale shark. I've never had a Microtech come that wasn't sharp. I've had issues with Microtechs that didn't want to cut because of and they were Ultratechs, and it was always either the saber ground, not the saber ground, I'm sorry, either the dagger ground ones, the double-edged ones, or the bayonet ones, and it's because they're thick. Oh, no, yeah, now I remember. Nope, I'm not fucking with that. I'm not doing any more disassembly, no more spa treatments, any of that on Microtech knives. The tools are expensive, and then I have broken all my tri-wings, and I'm at a point where nope, no more. it's not a financially viable thing to keep buying those tools. So, and the fact is, if you need it taken apart and there's something wrong with it, just send it back to Microtech. They'll do it. Corey and them, they don't have an issue with some of the stuff I do, but that's, I mean, Jason McCoy's told me, he's like, dude, you're not ever going to be avoiding a warranty for a Microtech knife because they know me, they know the work I do. So now, like I said, sharpening will be down, but because it just takes up so much time. But to do, like, if I got a couple people that need ceramic coatings, I don't see why I can't do some ceramic coatings for right now. But sharpening, yeah, it's just, sharpening is going to be a no-go for a little while. We're almost there. Let me see. I'm going to end this here in a minute, but I just wanted to go through this stuff. Let's see. Was Neve saying, yeah, Jared, weather's coming. It's Microtech. What's up, Jared? Get ready for what? I'm not going to lie. 2 afternoons ago, Jared's complaining about the cold. 2 afternoons ago, I walked the dog in flip-flops, basketball shorts, t-shirt, and a ball cap because it was 71 degrees. What is it today? It is an unknown. Let's see. I don't know what the temperature is. My watch is well, my watch is fucking up. How does it compare? It's about the only thing that compares to DLC. Oh, I think it's probably 68, 70 degrees. Okay, so I've never had M390 chip. So I would say what knife and what company. Wait, let me see. It's probably one of those Benchmades in M390 that they ran really hard, like the Anthem. Or there was another one I did that was a really thin one that they did in M390. So what knife in M390? Or it could be a Spyderco. Oh, see? Spyderco and Benchmade run that shit too hard. I've never had. Okay. I have seen someone take 20 CV, same steel. I mean, it's the same thing. I have several knives in M390, several knives in 20 CV. They're basically the same steel, just different companies' versions of the same thing. They're analogs. I'm going to tell you, I've never had one chip, except for Spyderco and Benchmade. I have one of my knives in 20 CV that went to Eric Outer, because everybody was like, M390, it's too brittle and this and that. I watched him hammer that through a frozen oak log. It bent it in like everybody's like, oh, it's so brittle. You can't make an outdoors knife with that. It's too brittle. It'll break. I watched him hammer that 20 CV knife repeatedly through a log where it was bent into a C and it didn't even maintain the C shape. So didn't even lose its edge. So people can say what they want. Like, people are like, I can't believe you like 20 CV, fucking fanboy. And I'm like, dude, it's a good steel. I've made so many knives in it at this point, and I've never had anyone have an issue with it. I will say, when I said it was Benchmade, I was like, oh, I forgot about Spyderco. The second I said it, I was like, no, it could be a Spyderco. Notorious for bad heat treats. I've got a Spyderco Endura in there that's supposed to be in ZDP 189 that has such a bad heat treat that it's just in there because I can't do anything with it because it was a gift. Like, I won't do anything. I won't throw a gift away. I won't give a gift away. I won't sell a gift. but I definitely don't use it. I hope that's the delivery guy. We're at in Arizona, Tristan. I feel as though we've talked before, and I just can't remember. I may have sharpened knives for you. I don't remember. Oh, Zach, just that last little bit is what's killing me here. And I have to take it off because it's the apex that's bad. Well, I found a spot that is really aggressive on this. That will help. Let me see here. Mesa. I know where it's at. My buddy lives in Phoenix. Well, he lives in one of the Phoenix outliers. I can't think of the name of it. Nice little town. I like where he's at. And then I got a buddy that lives in Tucson that runs a company called Otter Arms. And if you need a gun stand, that dude makes some great ones. You'll see it. I'm gonna do a video about them when they show up here in the next day or so for Full 30. You'll have to go find it on Full 30. I'm gonna do a couple videos because woo. Zach, I'm not gonna lie to you, I am getting into the plunge on this. I'm just having to take off so much material. I'm hitting that plunge. Give me a second. I think I heard somebody pull up. I have a guy that's supposed to come meet me to look at some stuff that I'm thinking about getting rid of. There's another fucking bee. Later, Jared. Are you going to be available? I wanted to give you a call here in a little bit. Or are you back to work? My goodness. I don't like Spyderco at all. If you ask me, hey, should I get the Spyderco? I don't care what model you ask me. The answer is going to be a resounding no until they fix their QC issues. I will tell you, everybody thinks I just hate Spyderco. I don't hate Spyderco. I think that they could be a good company again. And the problem is I used to love Spyderco. Problem is that they just don't check anything that leaves their shop. They just send it out. They don't care. And they've started marketing themselves basically as a, they've gone to the lowest common denominator of knife. No, I got my stones. I got new stones. They showed up. Edge Pro overnighted them to me. I got a whole new set of stones. The only thing that they got that was expensive was my new diamond plate and a couple of my Edge Pro diamond matrix stones that I don't use anyway because I just don't like the finish that they've been leaving. So the thing was, and I was telling everybody, so since you're just logging in, I found a couple of them. I found my, where's it at? I found my 600. I found my old, no, it was my old 400 and my old 1000. And you can see they were so thin compared to, that's a new stone and that's an old stone. Can you see? Those two stones together aren't as thick as the new stone. So they were laying over here. But the stones that I use that are more expensive of the diamond matrix stones, they were in a house because I had used them for a video. Unfortunately, I came out here and I used my new diamond plate on something. Later, Zach, I'll let you know when these are done. I'd used it on something out here and it just, for me, that's maybe 6 months, 4 to 6 months. But like I said, don't forget, I sharpen probably 10 knives a week, maybe, for friends and customers and stuff that I've made and stuff that's mine and around the house and stuff like that. I haven't had a lot of mail-in customers. I know money is tight, and that's why I don't push the membership on the channel as much as I could. Like, I'm just like, if you can support the channel, by all means, please try and pick up a membership. Right now, I'm still reprofiling this. I've been doing this for like an hour. We'll see. We're gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna keep you guys until I get this reprofiled. Problem is when you reprofile something this heavily, when you get done and then you go up in grit progression, you almost always have to go back down. So I'm gonna let Zach know, even though he's not here, I am going to change the angle on this to take that material off the front. So he's gonna have a little weirdness on this knife until we get it all sharpened back in. Because I just can't continue to take that much material off just to align this. So he's gonna have a little bit of weirdness on this. And it's not for time constraint. I don't care how long it takes. It just doesn't make sense to take that much material off a knife just for aesthetics. It will be every bit as sharp the way I'm transitioning it to. I just need to get that spot even out so that it actually will take an edge all the way to the tip. And that, I believe, has done it. Now we have fairly even edge on that. Part of the reason that tip was so bad was it does, okay, so I'm gonna let you guys know, like, people argue with me, and I have read the science on it. They're like, oh, you can't use aluminum oxide on that. You can't use aluminum oxide on that. Aluminum oxide is a 9 on the Mohs hardness scale. Sapphires, rubies, aluminum oxide, that's what sapphires and rubies are made from. The only thing that's harder, as far as like an abrasive, garnet, those are all made of aluminum oxide, just different chemicals in them that make the, like, chromium that typically is green, but when it's in aluminum oxide and under heat, turns it red. And then you get rubies, sapphires, blue, I can't remember what's in those. But aluminum oxide is the primary thing that's in it. Aluminum oxide is a 9 on the Mohs hardness scale. That's why it's used as an abrasive. The only thing harder than that is the diamond. Carbides that are in most steels, I will admit there are a couple that you need diamond because even sapphire won't do it. But if sapphire won't do it, neither will CBN. So diamond is for things that have high levels of tungsten carbide, titanium carbide, vanadium carbides, a large number of them. Even vanadium, though, you can cut it with aluminum oxide because it's still an 8 to an 8.5 out of a 9, you know, on that scale. So I finish on aluminum oxide, which all of my other stones are aluminum, and if I really need to get it, if somebody wants a high polish, I'll take it to 10,000 grit, and then I finish it on this ceramic, which is also aluminum oxide. It's just baked differently. So, yeah, I'm just finishing on aluminum oxide, which I'm not going to lie to you, I have had 0 problems with. All of my knives are sharpened that same way. It just takes a little bit longer, and so I'm not charging extra because I'm using different stones. But the problem is I'm not getting the finish I like on those diamond stones. So I keep having to use, and so this saves me going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and with the diamond matrix stones, I have to very often, I have to stop and redress those stones. Not because they're worn or not because they're filled, because what happens is they pick up a small flake of the burr at the very edge and it sticks in, and then it scratches badly the finish that I've worked so hard to get. So I don't use them. I haven't used them. I don't use them past 1,000 grit. Right now I'm breaking these stones in. So that Spyderco Ultrafine gives you a beautiful, beautiful finish. I'm breaking these new Edge Pro stones in so that the surface abrasive is good, and they're cutting well. This is gonna be a beautiful, beautiful edge on this knife. It's just gonna take a while of grit progression. S30V is my least favorite of the super steels because you get all the bad things that go with a super steel. Difficulty to sharpen, wear resistance that is just so far up there that it takes forever. But the benefits that you get from it, from what I've seen in all the knives I've had in it, isn't that good because it doesn't seem to hold the edge as well as you would think it would for as difficult as it is to sharpen. And then you have the converse that I've noticed. I have no problem sharpening S90V. None. I find it easier to sharpen than S30V. I find it much easier as a sharpener to sharpen S30V. But once you get it there, it holds that forever. So I wish that I had to wait until one of my subscribers decided that he was done with his knife in S30V, or S90V, I mean, his blade, got a replacement that he had kind of chowdered up when he was sharpening, and sent it to me. No, I would much rather have S90V than S125V. It's not even a matter of sharpening. I just like the edge and the way S30 or S90V feels when cutting. I find it a much... I find S90V pretty much, other than 20CV, I find it as my favorite steel. And somebody tried to tell me S90V is basically 20CV, and I'm like, I don't think that they're the same. They're a good bit different. And I don't mean just, composition-wise. I'm talking as like the way they feel on stones, the way they sharpen, the way they hold an edge, the kind of edge they take. S90V takes a terrifyingly toothy edge. You guys want me to keep you along until I finish this? We'll just do an entire live sharpening on this knife by itself. I won't. Here's the thing. My realtor, he can leave a message and I'll call him back. So if you guys want to stick around for this entire thing, I'm going to progress through the grits. Where is everybody? Let's see. Apparently S125V it's so expensive. And I can't remember if this is Chris or who in New York there. I know that there was two of you guys at the knife show that I hung out with, and you both changed your YouTube handles, so I don't know exactly which one of you I'm talking to. Is this my New York transit worker? Or is this my other New Yorker? Yeah, it's still a low spot, and I'm gonna have to do a lot of just cleaning up and touching up, where I took so much material off that tip that it just does not look good. Scratches are so deep in it. I do. That's one of those things that I can do. I'm curtailing the sharpening, but I will still do anodizing. But I can't promise turnaround dates with all the stuff I have going on right now. So, I mean, it would basically be that you send it to me and I'm like, I will get it done when I get it done. Yes, actually you'll be able to see. So let me explain this to you guys while I'm taking a break, because my hand needs a quick break and I need to take a drink. So the way this works with the sharpening tutorial for the top tier, the premium tier members, it's all in the communities tab. So if you go to the community tab and you scroll down through, if you are a top tier member, you will have access to stuff that other people can't see. It's the only place I can post them now so that you guys see them. But yes, you can. And if you can't find them, let me know and I will just, I will I'll send you links to it if you need me to, and we'll do it that way. But the members thing here on YouTube, it's a beta. I'm beta testing it for them. And so one of the things that I kind of want them to do, and they've asked, this is the first time YouTube has ever really asked us creators our opinion on something. And what I really would like to see them do is change the notifications so that, like, if you're a top tier member, you get notifications that are for top tier members only, so that I don't have to post that and you don't have to go in search. But that's where they're at, Rick. That is where they're at. And I'm going to do a video that basically lays out grit progression. Basically what I'm doing now, but with explanation. Because, like I was explaining to somebody, you know, they're like, oh, we should just do tutorials. I was like, I do tutorials. I'm like, oh, well, I don't see them. I was like, well, it's because the reason that the tutorials are for the top tier paying members is because I do teach sharpening classes, and I have taught sharpening classes here, and I charge for that. So I wouldn't want to hobble myself and make it free. That's just not good business sense. You know what I mean? So even if I sent you the link to those tutorials, because my buddy was like, hey, I want to try and make sure that, like, people can't send each other the link. He was like, send it to me and let me see. He was being honest with me. He didn't want to try and get over and get free stuff. So we tested it. He was like, nope, can't do it. Like, if you're not a paying member, and even if I send you the link, you can't watch it. And he's like, that's a good deal right there. He's like, that's smart. Okay, I'm gonna have to, this stone is not doing exactly what I want to have in this box. There's my 250. See, these two stones right here, I use a lot. My 250 and my 650 from the Diamond Matrix stones, because I don't have an issue with the finish that they leave. They're not causing the deep scratches. That's doing a lot better. I was trying to see if I was gonna have to resurface those stones before I could use them, and I think I'm going to. Well, at least that 250. It's just not as aggressive. They felt really smooth. So luckily, the stuff that the diamond stones that I use real regular were in the house, because I'd used them in a reprofiling video. And I just left some of that stuff in there. I said the thing that sucks is those strops that I used, those were brand new. Like, I had just got them just a couple months ago. And they're out of stock right now, so. And the last batch of balsa wood I got to use for myself to put on top of them just it wasn't good. So the ones that are in there, they'll do, but they're not doing exactly what I want. It depends on steels too. Different steels, different grit progressions. You know, it just depends what you're doing. With knives, a lot of times you can get away with skipping a grit on some stones. Like, I will say that Chaucera stones cut incredibly well, and sometimes you can skip from a 5,000 to, or I'm sorry, from an 8,000 to a 10,000 and skip the 10,000. But with straight razors, you can't do that with a straight razor. It does not end up doing what you want. So, you know, sometimes you can skip grits. Like, I've been known on some steels to go all the way from a 5,000 to a 10,000, or a 2,000 to a 10,000. It depends on how much tooth I want versus the way it looks, because what you do is you basically kind of give it the illusion of a mirror polish, because all you're doing is you still have those deeper scratches. And so at the apex, those micro serrations are still there and they're really crisp. What you've done is you flatten the tops, and it gives it the illusion of more of a mirror polish. You can still see it under good light. You can really see that it's not as mirrored as it is, but it makes it present more. And I've offered that for a long time to customers. Like, if you want it really toothy, I can skip a stone, and that way you wind up with something that, I'm getting tired. I've been working on this for 80 minutes on this one knife. You get something that looks more like what they want, but kind of performs like a much more aggressive finish, if that makes sense. But that's something I'm going to explain in the grit progression tutorial that I'm going to film. So this is where we start forming our convex. Is usually I try to keep my edge fairly straight on the really coarse diamond plate and on like the 80 grit stone and things like that. When I get to this 250, this is my 250. When I get to 250 grit, that's where I start forming that bit of a bevel, because it's easier than trying to take those deep scratches out. If you do the convex on really coarse stone, those deep scratches have a tendency to like to sit where it starts to curve up. And I have a little bit of it on here, but you get a little bit of weirdness. And I'm gonna have that because I took so much material off. So as we go up in grit, we'll see that change a little. I've done it. I've done it. I didn't do it to the extent that you see the guys on YouTube do, but I offered that when I took Kenjutsu, which is Japanese cutting. I actually offered that as a service to my fellow students, approved by our instructor. He had me do one of my swords, one of my beater swords, so he could see how I did it. He was okay. He's like, yeah, you maintain the proper edge angle and stuff like that. Because when you take those, this was my instructor here in California. I took Japanese sword cutting, Japanese swordsmanship for 4 years after I got back. Technically, I took that for 17 years. I have several belts in it. Well, let's say belts, but I'm at a level where I could instruct classes if I chose to. And so, with that being said, so you know, I learned a lot about it, and so I sharpened a few knives for my instrument. It just takes so long. It's almost, you know, even at $700 a sword to sharpen, it just takes so long that you're just like, you're not making any money. Guys, I lived in Japan. See, you guys joke about that, but the fact is, I lived in Japan for 13 years. My wife is Japanese. My in-laws are Japanese. I speak Japanese. I basically live in a Japanese house when you really look at how we live and how we interact. Yes, I am a hillbilly, but the fact is, this is gonna chip. This knife is gonna chip. It's too hard. I'm telling you right now, it's too brittle. I can tell by sharpening, and it's not. I'm not gonna tell. It's, you can say grit. It's carbide tear out. This is a diamond stone. My father-in-law loves the fact that I'm country. He loves cowboy movies and things like that. Well, because I mean, technically, the samurai were the cowboys of Japan. The quick draw, the duels, it was all the same thing. The quick draw of a sword and the quick draw of a gun, they had their own specific, you know, things. They were the it's S30V. They were the gunslingers of the Japanese historical periods. samurai duels and things like that. All right, we're gonna go ahead and go up to 400 and see how it does. But I can already see chipping on this. I'm gonna give him a warning. I don't think we should take this too high in the grit. I think it's going to wind up doing a lot of chipping. Somebody asked me about removing a burr in between, and I don't. I will touch on that in the sharpening tutorial much better, but what I do is my first pass is the opposite side. So if I finish on this side, my opposite side is on here. So I just remember which side I finished on, and I just knocked that burr off with my first pass. I don't have anything around just specifically for burr removal. I don't have a special like piece of wood or something I draw it through. I just don't see it making sense because I'm gonna just form a burr on the next stone anyway. Yeah, this is cutting well. It's just, it's at the very apex. It looks like it's trying to chip, and one of the tutorials I'm gonna do is how to actually do a convex edge like I do. And it's gonna be hard to show, it's gonna be hard to explain, it's gonna be hard to film, but I'll at least explain. No, I did not. I never moved forward on it. I need to. It's something that I definitely would like to try and do. It's another one of those things, I just don't have time. I don't have a 3D printer. I don't have a way to do it here. And the guy that would have done it for me, he started his own business. My buddy Pip Corona started his own 3D printing company. He makes gun stands. For most people, I mean, I honestly think it would detract from the way I do it. It would make it more difficult for me. I've just done this so many times. Like, I don't even watch. It's muscle memory for me at this point. But I could see it being something that would make doing it this way for other people easier. Well, I have some coming. I just unfortunately can't do the video for YouTube. So if you want to see a video about those stands that he's making for pew-pews, and they're awesome looking, you're gonna have to check that out on my Full 30 channel. What was that? Well, like I've said before, we've talked about this before, Sky. I've probably sharpened more knives in the last 3 years than most people will ever see in a lifetime. I did some numbers, and we're talking literally thousands, if not tens of thousands of knives in the last 3 or 4 years. Let's think about it. I've done 1,000 YouTube videos, and that doesn't even equate to how many knives came in for sharpening that could have been done on the channel. You know what I mean? Just want to keep my a lot of it is at this point I listen to how it sounds, and I know when it's time to switch stones. I know if I've switched my angle at all. I've got my you can still see on this, it's a 400 grit. I don't know how clear it's going to come through on that camera, but there's multiple facets. As I go up in grit, I'm going to remove those facets, and it'll be one clean edge up. There may be some residual scratching, and this blade looks like it's trying to chip even at 400 grit. So we're going to see. I'm going to try and lightly touch up that edge apex and bring the angle up just slightly and see if I can smooth that out. Definitely looks like she's trying to chip right at the apex. Here. It's a spot here, and there's a spot here, and a lot of times it's the grind. I removed a lot of material, so I shouldn't be having any issues with that, but I seem to be. We'll see what it looks like when I hit the 600. I can just hear it trying to chip. I think I may have gotten it. No, it's still kind of. We'll see. We're ready to go up to 600 grit and see where it looks. These back in the water. That one out. I may have to go back to that one. I can definitely, yeah, I can feel it right there. So we'll see. We'll see as I form my convex edge what it looks like. It does not look promising. Can you guys hear it? Listen. Hear it? Click, 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 click. It's just a couple spots on this where it just seems like it's just trying to chip. Was that? I was unable to do anything with that. So I looked at it. I was like, I can't do anything with that. I didn't even bother sharpening it. Like it's unsafe. It just needs a replacement. I apologize. I was going to send you the email, and I thought maybe I could look at it and see if I could maybe fabricate something for it. It's that's why I told you I didn't charge you for it. I said I'd just take a look at it. That's where we're at on that. I just couldn't. It got ran over. Apparently Sean is military and his shit got ran over by a track vehicle. It happens. So your package will be going out here in a couple days because I did the Spyderco, and then I did not realize you had paid me the additional for the reprofile on the cold steel and the bayonet. So I apologize. I would have gotten them out, but I didn't see that email until it was late on Saturday. I'm not gonna lie, it's just because I didn't check my email. So pro tip, that's how you check and see if you've got any spots that are maybe not as smooth as the rest of your edge. Okay, I think I got rid of that chip. I think we played with it enough that I got that area, and it could have been something as simple as maybe a little spot where the factory edge, I didn't see it in the scratch pattern, and just taking some time. I cleaned that up because one of the things I'll talk about in the grit progression is sometimes you'll do something at a grit, and then as you go up in grit, you realize that you maybe missed a spot, like there's a low spot sitting there, and it just happens. So it's something I'll explain about when you go in your grit progression, when it's time to change and when it's time to go back down in grit. So I'm pushing that tutorial series hard. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there's been a lot of work. If you guys watched, if you guys that have seen them can tell you, there's a lot of work that I've put into them, especially this last one. I did stone maintenance, I did picking stones, now we went into reprofiling and things like that. So, yeah. I can't tell when stuff is hot anymore. Now it's time for me to stop looking because I can tell by how many facets are still on there that that should have already been removed, that I'm paying too much attention and not focusing on you guys, which is why I watch movies when I'm sharpening, because if I do it by feel, I get a much better end result than if I do it by sight. It just kind of happens when I don't look, but if I look, I will screw it up every time. So I need to get some of those old facets out. And I will do that by talking to y'all. So tell me what y'all are doing. I don't see any comments. Right now what I'm doing is just for aesthetics, is to knock off old facets. The final step of that is done in the stropping process. So we are ready to go to 1,000. I have a guy that is supposed to stop by today. You mean for the sharpening tutorial? I tried to do it as basic as I could. But the thing is, all of it is going to take practice. Oh yeah, you don't use, people do use diamond on SM100, and you can do it, it does not like, it's not that it doesn't cut it. People are like, what are you saying it doesn't cut it? It's not that it does not cut it. It absolutely does cut it. You just don't wind up with the edge you want. It's sticky. It like sticks to it and it doesn't give you what you want. So what I recommend is aluminum oxide, and I don't go above about 5,000. I mean, I've taken them to 10,000. It is such a unique material. You get some different things, but I don't use ceramic. It wants to stick to ceramic. And I don't use my diamond strops because it just peels the diamond paste out of the balsa and it sticks to it, and then you gotta sharpen it back out. So I use aluminum oxide and chrome. I use aluminum oxide stones all the way up to, depends on what the customer wants. I've done it all the way to 12 or 10,000, I mean, because my 12,000 is a ceramic stone. It's just a different type of ceramic. It's not like a Spyderco ceramic. So I usually take it to like 10,000 grit. And I did have a 12,000 grit Chaucera, but it just fell apart. Like it just stopped coming apart. And then I strop it and strop it and strop it on chromium oxide. And it is such a ductile material that it continues to stretch past where normally steel would break off and terminate, and that's, so you can thin that out so much thinner than steel. It will cut you at the slightest touch. So yeah, aluminum oxide is the only thing I use on SM100. And it takes forever, and you've got to be patient. If you use any pressure, it stops cutting. Yeah, it's like silly putty. And I don't know what it is about the SM100. It gulls to those diamond stones. I have cheap strops. I've got strops I've made from old belts, and I have a $300 razor strop in there. And I do notice a difference, especially on straight razors, from high quality, good quality leather to a cheaper leather. But for most knives, you're not going to notice much of a difference. I use the felt side of my straight razor strop, which obviously I have not used my straight razors in a long time. I use the felt side of it for knives, and it seems to work great, but it's a very, very fine felt, and it's a very expensive strop. I think I paid like 300 bucks for that strop. The other side is kangaroo leather, and it's really fine, and so straight razors, when I sharpen them for customers, get a run on that before I send them home. That way there's no burr and weirdness. They get run on the 1 micron, the half micron, and then I clean them up real good, and then I run them on the felt 40 passes, round trip passes, so that's up and back, that's 140, then flip to leather, do the same thing, and they get a fresh, clean, stropped edge on their straight razors. So yeah, I mean, I definitely would not use a cheap strop on a straight razor. Yeah, like I said, that strop was like 400 bucks, $350, $400, something like that. But I mean, I'll have that forever. That's something that my daughter will have and can give to her kids, you know? If she has kids, the only thing she doesn't care about boys and stuff like that. The only thing she cares about is skating. That's it. That is the passion that consumes her. I can 100% understand that. I am a very one-minded, single-minded individual. I had thought for years I wanted to become a detective. My dad was like, yeah, you would make a good homicide detective. You are such a very single-minded, once you set your mind to something, it is the only task at hand. He's like, that would be very useful. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. And I thought about going home and trying to go back and work for the sheriff's department back home, become a detective. But I like smoking weed. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, shouldn't have said that. That's gonna demonetize this video. That was the hitching a giddy up for that. Well, guys, guess what? She's on the U.S. figure skating team. She competes internationally. So she's at the highest level. You can't go any higher. She's at the international level. Super single-minded child. Like, that's the only thing on her head is figure skating. Figure skating, figure skating, figure skating, figure skating. That's it. She doesn't care about boys. Well, that, and she likes to hang out. She likes to talk with her friends online, but all of her friends that she talks online with are figure skaters. So, figure what they're talking about. No pun intended. I'm gonna resurface these stones when I get done with this. Yeah, that is bitey. Now, that's 1,000 grit. I'm going to hit this on my diamond strops real quick, just to deburr. It's basically all I'm doing with this is deburring it. See how it looks. It still looks chippy in that one area, though. I'm telling you guys, it's... Try and smooth that out a little bit more with this 1,000 grit. It just does not... Yeah, that's exactly... They were planning her course here not long ago for that. But she does not meet the age requirements. But I think the Winter Olympics got delayed, so she may now meet the requirements. But she's fighting an injury right now, so we'll see how everything pans out. You know? Sorry, I was preoccupied with making sure that this is correct. Sorry. So, now this is 1,000 grit. I'm going to hit this up on the diamond strop, or on the ceramic stone, I mean. And see, that is so chippy at the edge. Like, even on 1,000, it's just... Let's see if I can smooth that up just a little bit. This has a coarse... This has a side that has some issues. This ultrafine might clean that up a little bit, but I don't think it will. No, this is just chippy. Trying to feel. I can see it. just heard my doorbell ring. Hang on a second, guys. I'll be right back. No, I do not want to put new windows on my house. You should probably come back in a matter of a couple months and see if the owners would like to put new windows on this house. We might be able to smooth that out. They're so, you can see them when you look down at the top of the edge. This is my problem with S2025V. Or S30V, I mean. It's chippy, and people argue with me, and I'm like, you send me good S125V, or S30V. Send me a good example of what you think is not chippy S30V, and I'll give it a good, honest shot. But from the time I started on this knife, it seemed like it was trying to chip, and it still is, even on a super, super fine ceramic. Let's give her a run on the strops. Take her to 0.5 micron and see. That feels a little bit better. Nope. Still, like I can look down on it and see. Let's get the chromium oxide. We'll do chromium oxide first. My chromium oxide strop is in the house. I used it on my wife's kitchen knives. Fuck, that's bad. It's not a good edge. I've given it everything I can give it. I've done 107 minutes on this knife by itself. And I'm at the point where Zach had overpaid me on some stuff before. So that's why I'm not going to charge him extra on this, but this definitely, yeah. Okay, here's a little tip. You see those streaks? This is why I brought my chromium oxide out. I wanted to see. When you drag your knife across and you see streaks like that, that means that there is something at that apex that is dragging through and catching or not touching. So let's try the other side. So this is fresh. You can see, got a load on it. Let's see here. See it? See those? See those spots, those lines? There are little chips on this knife, and I'm trying to see exactly, yep, they're exactly where I feel the, right here. I can kind of feel them. I'm hoping I can kind of maybe strop them out. Maybe they're small, and they seem like they're dissipating, but I think it's going to be a constant issue. Yeah, they're pretty much gone now. I think it's going to be a continuing issue with this knife for him, but we'll see. We'll see. Now we'll go back to the diamonds and see if we can clean that up and make it a little prettier. It does feel sharp though, but they always do. I love the way a crisp, fresh edge on S30V feels till the first time you cut with it. And then it chips and you lose that crisp edge and it just feels bad. I mean, I guarantee that Sean's is good, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like anything in Maximat unless Sean makes it. Sean's got some of the best knives out there because he knows his heat treat and his stuff's always good. Production heat treat on some of these steels is always suspect, in my opinion. Oh, they even stole all my magazines. They stole all my magazines out of the drawer that I used for testing. Hang on a second, I owe you a piece of paper or two. Can you believe that? They stole my magazines. Luckily, I think I scared them off before they got everything because, nope. So I had a bag of aluminum oxide, a bag of really, really coarse stuff for the 80 grit stone, and I had a thing of silica carbide for flattening stones. They missed. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's freaking. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it just chipped. It chipped doing that. I can see it. Yep, right there. Jesus. Put this puppy on a shelf, Zach. This is a shelf knife. When it caught and squeaked, I'll be damned. And see, I have had a couple knives that were that brittle. Don't get me wrong, it's a good looking knife. I'm gonna see if that did anything. Let me see, let me run it on this. I gave that a really steep angle, almost what I would consider a micro bevel, I guess. That's better. But still, the edge just looks chowdered. Like, I can just see it. It just looks, it doesn't look good. I'm not happy with it. So, yeah, we're gonna call this. I'm pretty much done. This is going back how it is. I can't spend any more. I still have a whole nother knife of his to sharpen. Is that my customer? What time is it? I still have another knife of his to sharpen today. Yeah, it's just not a good, it's not good. And it's like, I can't do anything about it. I've done everything I can do. Not happy with this. So this one might not get a video. Now that I wish I'd done the video before I sharpened it. It is an attractive knife and it's comfortable, but yeah, their S30V is not good. I'm not gonna say that. It could be just this one. There might be others. Guys, that's it. 114 minutes from start to finish just to sharpen that knife. So figure that out at $25 per knife. What's that equate to? Not a lot. Not a lot for more than 2 hours per knife. Some knives don't take that long. I'm not gonna lie. I sharpened a couple knives before that. Yeah, it's the heat treat. It's too hard. It's like glass. It's brittle and it cracks. Guys, I gotta go. I've got to check my email and my voice messages, make sure my realtor hadn't called me. I love you all. That's why I do this. Take it easy. I'll see you next time.